Sometimes the pain we go through affects us for a long time, and those around us when we fail to address it.
And I remember
It's the pain of Nathan Kimani, the well-known JB Masanduku, as a result of the losses in his life that he hasn't been able to face.
I said, and there's no life in me. So what's the purpose? My sister died, my brother died, my father died, my mother died, my grandfather died, my grandmother died. So what? I go to school, so also die.
Is he even aware of the hurt and the pain that he has so well been able to cover up with comedy, with alcohol, with friendships? How has it affected him? His relationships, his marriage, his career? What became of his coping skills?
The coping mechanism at this point is
alcoholism.
We shall be unpacking it all one by one as we seek to find healing for JB Masanduku.
some of the things you can only be the one to unpack them because it is your responsibility.
This is Freedom Lounge. My name is Marianne Imani.
Why would you have money locked up somewhere, saving it to drink next week, but one? Yet we can use it as per now, and I'll still give you money to drink next week. Because I keep on telling Mimi, says you won't drink alcohol, baby. If I have money, I'll give it to you, go drink. But at the moment, if I don't have the cash that I can access any cash right now, and you have money and you're just sitting there waiting for Jackie to come up with a miracle from nowhere, that's quite wrong.
It hurts.
It's very bad.
How do you envision your marriage with? What's the future like for you? And
wow, that's normally such a roller coaster for me, because one day I'm there, one day I'm totally in my head. I'm telling myself, Jackie, what are you doing? What are you doing? Then the next day I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. He's a nice guy. Just calm down. Then the next day I'm so mad. I don't want to see him.
The worst betrayal is self-betrayal. We live in a generation where we are drained by the covering up of bleeding wounds only for them to show up in very ugly ways. My life has not always been perfect. I have won some battles and lost others. I have always deeply desired to see people heal and get a chance to rewrite their stories. My name is Marianne Imani. Welcome to Freedom Lounge, where we work together to bring healing and transformation according to Psalms chapter 2, verse 3.
My name is Nathan Moya Kimani, alias JB Masanduku. I'm a father, a comedian, an actor, a civil and structural engineer, a Jesus lover.
many titles.
Many things.
Nathan has been to very many interviews, and for me to really get to the core of his heart, for me to really understand what exactly happened in his childhood, I felt it was really necessary to go where he was brought up after his parents died. There's some unfinished business there.
My father died in 1998 and my mother in 2002, so from then I became a nomad, crisscrossing between aunties and uncles and my sister. But Regio is, why Regio is because at least Regio I was able to settle, and the Wagashas, they allowed me to call them dad and mom, and I had a brother there, two brothers actually.
Nathan. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Karibu. Oh my goodness. You see too. Wow, thank you.
Thank you, Mama. How are you?
Hi.
Thank you. We brought you some fruits.
Yes,
basket
I can
of fruits.
see, yeah.
We are hoping today we'll get the fruits of the Holy Spirit.
Yes, which are?
I know them by their fruits. Hallelujah.
Yes, you're
Thank you
welcome.
for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mom. Where do we sit?
Yeah, I think you sit here.
Okay. Thank you.
Nathan, thank you. Well, thank you. It's nice having you.
Thank you for having us, Mom.
Yeah.
My name is Marianne Imani.
Karibu,
And this is, we have a show called Freedom Lounge, Healing Together.
Mom, first and foremost, thank you for having us here today. As you know, after Dad and Mom passed on, I've been through different houses, but this is the place I felt at home. And I thank you for that, and Dad, and for allowing me to even call you Mom and to call Dad. I don't think anybody has ever given me that opportunity after, Akina Dad and Mom, and also to have Robin as a brother, and Mike as well. And it was just it was life-changing for me, honestly, because you remember the time I moved in is when I was at the climax of drama.
Can you take us to that? Day when
Yes.
you first came here?
So I had run away from school, Starehe Boys Center.
Okay.
I'd gone to sell my kidney. Yeah.
Sell your kidney?
Yes.
You wanted to sell your kidney?
Yes. I'd learned
How old were
that I was in Form 2. I'd learned that you only need one kidney to survive.
Okay.
So, and I researched. So,
In Form 2?
yes, that I was the relative then, and it was a bit intense with him because I understand him now because he had never raised a teenager, so he didn't know how to react to. He didn't know counselling. He didn't know sit down. It was just for him. It's just umekosea na kuchapa. Then I wasn't allowed to go out. I didn't have friends. It was just. I understand him now. I didn't then. I just felt he hated me, he'd never raised a teenager because he also had a hard time when he had kids of his own, and they were at that rebellious stage. So I was being tracked by CID. Then it was CID, not DCI, because the particular relative was quite high in government. So they were tracking me with Safaricom. And I really gave them a hard time because I'd go to Hurlingham, make a phone call, then go to Kayole. So when the CIDs arrived in Kayole, I switched off my phone. I'm in a different place. So I was MIA for like a month and a half.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Nathan.
Yeah.
Why were the CID looking for you?
Because, as I said, I wasn't in school and I'm not at home.
And you did not tell your
my guardian,
your guardian at the time.
Yes.
So they were looking for you.
For me because they don't know whether I've been kidnapped. They don't know whether I'm dead or alive. But they are tracking my movements. You get. So eventually, how they got hold of me is a friend at Starehe. This guy who was selling my kidney to had organized. I was going to Canada. Funny enough, that Mike went to Canada. I was going to Canada.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he'd bought me a fridge and a car in Form 2. I told him that I'm an orphan and I live in Muranga and I dropped out of school. So at some point he knew it was a lie because when we went to Nairobi Hospital to see if our blood is compatible, he found out that I'm O negative, so I can donate to basically anyone. But now in Starehe, the students come to Nairobi Hospital for serious cases. So he has seen the van and boys in red and blue, and the doctor is like, Nathan, what are you doing here? And then this guy is like, your name is Nathan? I told him my name is John. So I'm like, yeah, I'm Jonathan, so you can call me John or Nathan. Then how are these guys from Starehe? How do they know you? And then I told them it's a funny story. I went to Starehe Primary, because then there was a Starehe Primary. And he was just looking at me like, okay, something is not right, because he could tell by my command in English, Muranga dropout. Okay, but he was going with the flow. Thank God, because it was dangerous. I came later to learn that the reason why he wanted to take me to Canada is he wanted to harvest all my organs, actually. So I came home, I remember. And it was so funny. That same night, of course, Mom and Dad received me with it was so, apart from love, it was so delicate, because I was already so broken, And then that same same night I came on the news, they were talking about dialysis units and kidney transplants, And we had our light moment, and I guess although of course I've known Dad and Mom all my life, and I've visited, but that's when they took like custody of me, and they said, you can call me Mom and Dad.
You reached out to them, or someone reached out to them?
I think it had already become a family crisis. Yeah, so I think you reached out, if I'm not. I was asked. I think I was asked, where do you want to go?
Actually, yes.
I was asked. Yeah, because now you have given your relatives almost a heart attack. You can't go back to where you were. Whom do you want to live with? And I said, the Wagashas. And they were called and they said, hey, he's more than welcome. Yeah, and I came. So my journey began there.
And they received you with open arms.
Oh, it was something else.
I think you needed that love. You were missing that love that they gave you.
And it was intense. It was almost extreme love. Because I came, I think Mike was around, and we hadn't seen each other for a while, but we bonded. We talked with Dad privately. I cried. We talked with Mom privately. I cried. But our relationship with Mom and Dad was different. Like whenever I talked to Dad, we'd go to the office. We just related differently, by the way. I related differently with everyone. I changed schools, because I couldn't handle Starehe anymore. There was so much trauma. Everyone knew my story. The guardian had beaten me up in front of my peers. It was rough. I couldn't. I was just, so I changed. It was a fresh start. New home, new school. It was just refreshing. And whenever they came visiting, everyone knew this is Mom, this is Dad, and the rest are relatives. Everybody knew, and yeah.
Basically, Nathan you wouldn't even suspect he's doing those things.
Yeah, at all.
At all.
It's very innocent.
It's very innocent. Even when he comes and gives you that kind of a lie, you believe it because he's so innocent.
Yeah.
So for me, he was okay until the time now things started showing up. We will ignore it, pray for him, and trust that he's going to change. But we could also understand him because he was coming from, you see, when you lose your parents and then you don't even know where you stand. We could understand him until now it got to a point. Actually, for us, even to take him back to the auntie, the major issue was, you see, when you take in a child, na potee, most people will be blaming you.
Yes.
And the blame will be like, they never took care of him, they should have told us that he's going this way. So we felt it's better when he's with the relatives so that we don't have the blame. Otherwise, for us, even after he went, he remained part of this family.
This time I will try it again, but the difference is you will run the show.
We're going to dig in and find out what is Nathan's pain point. I'm going to have Nathan over. Nathan,
Please come. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And there's so much here.
Just deep memories. Where did you even get this? Wow.
Yeah, we do our homework, Nathan. So, so what you're seeing here is basically you. It's you in very different angles.
Yeah.
And what most people know is mainly probably the celebrity, the ex-husband, current husband, you know. But today we are going to unpack how it felt being your father's son and everything beautiful and everything ugly that came with it, that made who you are, made you to be who you are today. And how it was growing up with your siblings. You're the middle child.
Yes.
Yeah, the middle child. They say there's always a middle child syndrome.
Yeah.
So this is a middle child, as you can see. And you're married now. You're going to unpack about this.
Okay.
What's happening? And the man. They say a man without vision perishes.
Yeah.
Would want to know, did you have a vision then when this photo was being taken? Do you have a vision now? Is the man alive or the man actually died a long time ago? Who are we dealing with? Father, how many children? Like, note down your children, how many you have, and see how you feel about being a dad. Your strengths as a dad and where you have, just express yourself as a father. Your strengths and your shortcomings, or areas of growth, or areas you're like, yeah, I'm the best dad in the world, even though that's how you feel. And then there's a celebrity who most people know you as Masanduku JB. They don't even know you're Nathan. Leon Deomejoweni, Nathan Kimani. Yeah. Let's unpack also this person. Because this person is the one that we all know.
Yeah.
And then, yes, the celebrity. I mean, everywhere you go, how you sign autographs, also being your dad's son,
Yeah.
of course, also that came with a lot of celebrity status, right? And then, Manze, we hear you a lot.
Yes.
Talking about, oh, to God be the glory. You only glory to your God. Yani, and I'm seeing you very happy here in church. Yes. This photo, you took it in church.
Yes.
I got this from Facebook.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how is your relationship really with your father? How is our relationship? Just express it. So, and this really made you to be who you are today.
Yeah.
What would you tell your teenage self? Or what pains about being, what's the wound here? And ex-husband. Hapa kuna a lot to unpack.
Yes.
And we need to unpack it and heal. Comedian and actor. Express yourself here.
There is a shift happening everywhere across the world. God is here to restore everything you have lost along the way. Yeah.
I can only imagine how triggering and sensitive and emotional this exercise is for JB, but he needs it. We live in a very busy world where we hardly have time for that introspection. We've got entitles and roles in life, and we don't even know how we're doing at it. We don't even have time to look back and see our strengths, our weaknesses, to see what would really tell ourselves about it. At this moment, I hope that JB will totally get to the bottom of things on how he is showing up in these roles and titles that he has in life. That he will get to the depth of it and be real and genuine and honest on how he feels about each and every role or title that he holds in life. I have tried to really think of how I can really get to the depth of his heart, how we can bring out the inner child, because that inner child needs to get healed. Because once we go back there, once that inner child is healed, then the man will be unveiled in a better, greater way. And now, we're about to go to the bedroom. And this is a place where Nathan laid his head for the longest time when he was with his foster mother. And I hope that when we go there, that Nathan will be able to bring out that 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old child that needs to be healed. I hope that he will open up. I hope that the memories of that room will enable him to be vulnerable so that we may find healing in that moment. Let's go to the bedroom.
We're here in Nathan's former bedroom. And you're wondering why? It's because we need to heal it from the very depth of it. And this was a room that Nathan used to sleep when he lost his parents. And he was in this bed for quite some time. And he knows the tears he cried when no one else saw. He knows the grief he had to go through, the wounds he carried at that time that he couldn't really interpret to anybody. And so we're going to unpack that. And Nathan, tell me, who is this?
That's 7-year-old Nathan. Kimani.
7-year-old Nathan.
Yeah. Full of life, full of hopes, dreams, expectation, very joyful. No worry absolutely in the world. Both my parents were alive then. Remember, my dad had taken us for the photo shoot. I think he was, my brother was a bit young. He was about 2. Can't remember if he made it. But I think we went with my sisters. We had matching outfits and everything. Like she had the girl version of what I'm wearing.
Wow.
Yeah, because Dad made time for me on Saturday, especially because my sister was still going to school. She's older. Yeah, so Saturday was just our day with Dad. Yeah, then Sunday was now the entire family. Yeah, I remember we did random things every Saturday. There's a day we just took a train. The next Saturday we took those double-decker buses. They were still there. The day he took me for the recording of Joy Bringers. We just had random stuff that we did on Saturday. The boat riding at Uhuru Park was a huge thing then.
And when you look back, is there something that, as far as parenting is concerned, and now that you're a parent, is there something that you would rather do differently than what they did?
Yeah, basically. Maybe for the earlier days of my dad, although I followed his footsteps, well, we used to go out, you know, he could do his drinks and stuff like that. I remember once I was very concerned. I was asking Mom, I don't understand, because I was just admiring him taking his beers, and it's a golden drink with ice cream on top, and I was like, wow, it must be nice, because he's asking one after the other. And you know, one day I insisted I wanted to taste, and he gave me to taste, and I cried and asked Mom, why are they forcing him to take this thing? Because us guys are taking, you know, soda and squeezed juice. There wasn't those branded juice then, and it only take 2, you know, the entire time, and him is taking 10, and I'm like, are they forcing him? Like, because this thing is bitter. For real, I was really frantic. I didn't understand, and looking back, and I'm like, wow, it wasn't a very nice environment.
Let me ask you something. The drinking, when your father, before he got born again, because I know he got born again later on and evangelized.
Yes.
I think we saw a photo of him with evangelist Wairimo, Teresia Wairimo.
Yes,
he got born again way later on, before he passed on.
Yes.
But the person that he was before he passed on, the exposure, for example, of the alcohol at home, and seeing him take the 10 and just being very inquisitive about it, did it, that exposure, what did that exposure do to you? And how did that affect you as an adult or as a teenager, where alcohol is concerned?
Well, I guess subliminally it's okay. I'm not blaming him at all, but I guess subliminally it steered me towards that direction, because I remember even being a teenager, and after guys learned that Masanduku was my father, they're like, "Why you guy?" Everyone used to tell me, "Used to drink with that guy. That guy could drink. I think he had 4 livers. Like that. It's something to be proud of." And I was like, okay. And later, when I was now drinking, and I'd meet guys and go like, like even his colleagues, they used to tell me, "You don't drink, you guy. Our time we used to drink. Like we used to drink for 4 days. We haven't gone home." And they're saying like it's a good thing. And I'm like, I actually did that, and again, I don't blame him, because he changed his life so dramatically. He stopped everything cold turkey. He stopped smoking cigarettes. I know he didn't do bang for sure. And he stopped drinking just one day, and he cried for hours, and he cried, and he cried, and we all cried. I remember Reverend Teresia Wairimo was there, and Makariuki, I don't know why they'd come home. No, I think my uncle had passed on, and they prayed for hours, and he cried, and he cried. And he just stopped, and he started evangelizing. So he started at Deliverance Church Umoja, then he started just going different places, and because of his influence, he was filling up stadiums, but now he was not doing jokes, he was preaching. So I believe it's possible. But of course, again, I come from a history where I used to be told, even before I was born, my mom also used to drink heavy. But she stopped before I was born, so I never saw that side of her at all. But my dad, I saw it, and it wasn't a big deal. His friends would come over, or his colleagues, and they're all famous people. And we'd go out, and guys would buy him drinks, and history kind of repeated itself, because I'd go out, and guys are like, "Mtoto Masanduku pewa," I think the only thing I did different is I never once told my kids that this is alcohol. So I don't know whether it's a good thing, because we have argued with my ex-wife and my wife about it, because my previous marriage, they just used to call it daddy's poo-poo, because because probably I'd sip and cringe, then be like, "Hey, it must taste bad like poo-poo." Currently they just call it daddy's medicine, but
And talking about that, having the exposure that you got as a child, and being very curious about what your dad was taking, and even tasting and having that exposure, and then growing up feeling, my dad takes this, used to take this, and would you want the same pattern as well with your children? Because then you have had moments where you actually, where you've drunk from home, and they're also exposed to that. And don't you see like that's a pattern that could easily repeat itself?
Yeah, and of course it's something I'm working on it, because at some point, like even if I'd hide it from them, they could tell I'm getting excited by whatever I'm taking, and would play tirelessly, and they'll have such a good time. But then the following morning, they'll say, if daddy hasn't taken his medicine, it's just boring. No, because now you have hangy and stuff like that. So for them, they think it's a medicine I take just to become hyper. you know, but I realized these kids are sharp because once we had gone to my grandmother's and there was an advert of one of the local beers, and my son just went, "Daddy's poison," you know, in front of everybody, the extended family, and it wasn't good. So I was like, okay, as much as we pretend that these kids are not seeing, they
actually see a lot.
They actually do see a lot.
What are you looking at in the future? What would you rather do?
Of course, the ultimate goal is to stop. Hopefully by divine intervention or step by step. So of course I can't drink in the house. I can't go home drunk, basically.
Freedom Lounge, where we work together to bring healing and transformation.
Be very gentle with people who lose their parents, because it's something you cannot understand. The wound is so deep down that they don't even know how to express it. Just be gentle and show love. I would like Nathan to just go through a letter that he did to his parents.
I'm grateful for the amazing time of love and laughter I had with Mom and Dad. They were the best 9 years with Dad and the best 13 years with Mom. Dad, you took your Saturdays off just to hang out with me. Mom, you were so gentle and generous that you never raised your hand at me. You just gave me counsel, guidance, and advice. I love and miss you guys. I hurt because you left me young, lost and confused. And some of the people who were my guardians treated me harshly. Life treated me harshly without you guys around. I regret the mistakes I did along the way that would not have made you proud. I abused alcohol, became rebellious at some point, and for that I am sorry. I am grateful for raising me in the ways of the Lord, even though I went wayward at some point. And thank you, Dad, for the mileage you gave me in the comedy industry. And thank you both, Mom and Dad, for your incredible brains I inherited. You are true geniuses. I'll be okay, I'm just a bit overwhelmed.
Come and give him a hug, Your mom passed on, and how, just take us back to that day when it happened, and how it felt, and how, and then your dad, and how it felt, and how this affected you at that time.
Okay, my dad was quite young. I remember I was in the house. He had been hospitalized for a while. Then on Wednesday evening, he came home in an ambulance. He was so weak. He just said he just wanted to talk to his sons. I think my sister was in boarding school. And we talked, but I don't remember what we talked about. It was 98, so my brother was only 4 years old, I was 9. And he went away with the ambulance. And the following day, I came from school and I just found a lot of people in the house. Then my mom was brought in. She was being held, she was in distress, she was crying, she couldn't walk. And I told my younger brother, either Dad has gone to ICU, I don't know, I remembered ICU at that age, or he's gone to heaven. So for me, it wasn't such a big deal. It hit my sister really hard because she understood what was going on. So when she came home, she saw just a lot of people, then she got frantic, she went into shock, she fainted. It was just bad. So for me, I was just crying because everybody else is crying.
So at the point in time, it wasn't, if I mark your words, wasn't a big deal because you did not really clearly understand.
I was just like,
what was going on.
Yeah.
And then you were also quite young to really get it.
Yeah.
So what happened after you totally understood?
Yeah.
Or say years later?
Not even years later per se. So that evening, fire scoration announces on KTN, the first item on the news, Kenya loses a great legend, something, Masanduku harassing, then people start screaming in the house. So me, I'm just crying because people are crying. So it hit me like a bit during the burial. He was buried on the 7th of August 1998. Funny enough, my father said he'll save more people dead than alive. Then we were like, okay, we didn't understand. But he was buried during the bomb blast, and a lot of people were saved because they attended my father's funeral. So as we were leaving Chiromo, we had the first blast. Guys said it was a tear gas, tire burst. So when guys came back, guys used to work at the embassy, guys used to work at cooperative building. Lots of people who would have been there said if it wasn't, and I meet them nowadays, so if you didn't go for Masanduku's funeral, I would have been in that blast. So yeah, a lot of people came. I remember there was an argument who will, who will lead the service, because Makto had come from Japan, Benny Hinn had come, Evangelist Teresia Werimo had come, Mark Kariuki had come, JB Masinde had come, Mark Kariuki had come. It was just a whole thing. So when I saw, because I never viewed his body at the mortuary, I never did the viewing when guys view like during the burial site, but when I saw like his picture being removed and he's being put down, so I started asking, why are they taking him? Then I saw them, I'm like, what are they covering? So I'm running, I'm like, what are you guys doing? How are you supposed to get out of there? You know, because I was used to him acting. Dawned on you. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, it's probably he's acting or something, and I don't know why guys are crying, but anyway, something is not right. But when they started covering it, and now I'm frantic because I'm telling them, how will dad come out of there?
You still had questions, or you had not totally, but you had not accepted that he actually died.
Yes, but now this was the second person in my dad's side to pass on. The brother had passed on from a road accident, a pastor as well, Uncle Steve. Then my dad. Funny enough, they were arguing who will die first, and they really loved each other, so they followed each other, 97, 98. And then 99, another uncle of mine passed, same dad's side, 2000. After 2000, I think that's when Teresia, because we're losing a relative every year. In August, every August we lose a relative, different. This one was sick, another accident, another one. So they came, and I remember that's the first time I heard something about breaking, I don't know, it was breaking curses or breaking generations, or breaking chains, I don't know, because it had become. So after that, yeah, so there were 4 uncles. Then we had a break. This time now in 2002. I'm in class 8. I'm a candidate. I'm doing well. I was number 1 in the school. Then first time, I see it's a boarding school. So I see my uncles. I'm wondering what's happening. Then they're like, let's just go. We'll explain. So. On our way, they start saying, God gives, God takes. That's what I was always told when everyone passes, God gives, God takes. And I'm like, okay, sir, I'm used to it. Who is it now? And they told me Auntie Jerry, my mom's elder sister. She died of cancer. So by the time I got there, I was crying, but the rest were easy because they had seen enough, and they were praying, Mom is suffering, you know. Yeah. But you know, for us, so my cousins, now the kids, were the ones who were encouraging us, you know, because they've been with their mother step by step. We were in boarding school, so we didn't know. I go back to school and I come back for April holidays. My mom is in the house. Then this night, she just called me and just talks to me for hours and hours. I don't remember what she told me, but I know she impacted my life somehow. And she went to bed, and I went to bed. So I woke up and my auntie's in the house. It's like the same auntie who just keeps delivering bad news. And she told me we need to go, I don't know, to village market to do what, or go see my uncle. So I said, sawa. Then I rushed into my mom's bedroom because my favorite shoes were under her bed. So I saw her, and she was covered with a net, and she was sleeping so peacefully. So I tiptoed, I went under the bed, and I come out and I see my auntie's freezing like on the corridors. And then I'm like, mommy's sleeping. So we tiptoe. I wear my shoes. So those are my favorite shoes when you're going to village market anyway. And we go. On our way, she starts saying God gives and God takes. I said, hapana, hata Mungu wenyewe ametuzoea. When she said your mother, I lost it. I lost it. I thank God I didn't go to wake up because I probably had trauma and not be able to heal it, but I lost it. I cried 2 months in a row without stop. I had to see a psychiatrist, a counselor, then later a psychiatrist. I said my life is over, I'm not going back to school. I didn't go to school for a whole term. I said, then there's no life anymore. I mean, so what's the purpose? I mean, my sister died, my brother died, my father died, my mother died, my grandfather died, my grandmother died. So what? I go to school, so also die. So, yeah, there was a lot of intervention, both divine, family, whatever. So eventually after a whole time out of school, I went. And I remember I went, and some of the kids were sympathetic. The competitive kids were, because the stories are already gone there, they were excited because they knew I was just disoriented. And I said, I'll do this for you, Mom. And I remember
It's all right. It's fine.
And I remember I walked my ass off amid mockery and everything, and I said, I'll do this for Mom, and I'll go to study, and this one is for you, Mom. This one is for you. And through that time, I couldn't sleep, so when I cried, I just used to sneak back to class and read, cry, read. My diet was now just horrendous already. I'm not a good feeder, and here I am. So by the time I was going to high school, I was really puny, like it was a really small thing. But at least I made my mom proud. I was in the newspapers. I was number 35 in the country. And I said, Mom, I told you I'll do this for you. Yeah, and I went to Stare, and that's when they made it clear that I'm an orphan, man. Because a relative took me, and he was very well off. And I was pretty sure he's gonna pay school fees because they did, Harambes and stuff, and Mom had pension, Dad had pension from KBC. And they said they're gonna use this money to educate us and stuff like that. And I get to the office, and this person tells me, remember to tell them when you go inside, when you see Griffin, tell them that your father and mother are dead and you're desperate for free education. That's what I did. And he was pleased by me, like, thank you, you've saved me money. So that's the identity I had. Yeah, I was destitute, and that's when I really had the urge to belong. So I was in Form 1. My friends were in Class 8. At that time I was started primary, because I could relate with them, because most of them were really desperate kids, like for high school, you had people from wealthy family who would cater for people who cannot afford. Mr. Ray, if you can't afford 50,000 a year, you're a sponsored child regardless whether your parents are alive or not. So yeah, I could relate to these kids from the primary school because all of them were former street kids, and I could relate. Like, I know what desperate is, I know what destitute is. In fact, I felt like the coolest among them, you know, like at least I've lived in better places, and they were telling me stories, and I'm like, that would encourage me. And so I took one to see my uncle, and later, after my uncle realized that he might be in trouble because the school had started investigating people who can afford it, but they give us stories. So he donated land to the school to build Starehe Girls. This kid that had taken to see my uncle told the rest of the students, "Oh my God, that's Nathan's dad up there." And my uncle was there with the Minister of Lands. So the whole school thought that the Minister of Lands is my father. And when they asked me, I didn't deny it. Now I could belong. Started having friends now in high places who are like, you know. And it was easy to keep that up because, I mean, my uncle was working in the government, so he used to be dropped by GKs, and they were like, you see, and they were big cars, Prados. Then it wasn't standardized like Passats or personal. And yeah, so I started living my life. All of a sudden, I'm informed.
So you started living your life?
Yeah, because I didn't start the rumor.
You wanted to belong?
Yes, I didn't start the rumor, but I didn't deny it either. Because I was like, hey, is it true I'm a single daughter? And I'm like, I'm not allowed to say. Of course, that's reverse psychology for.
Yeah.
And then now they're saying, hey, okay, hi, my name is this, my dad is that, So we had a clique now.
Yeah, because you have a dad now.
Yes, of kids whose fathers have influence in the country.
Yeah.
And it was across. I was in Form 1, I had friends in Form 4. The speaker's son, heavyweights, let me not mention them because it's not their interview, but people who are heavy in the government, their sons would hang out because now we can relate.
Yeah. The need, the desire, it's like a deep need. I want to belong. That is, I think that when it first happened, I don't know if that's the event where it really happened in a very deep way. The need to belong because my mom and dad are not here, and I got to survive, and I have to work with what I got, and whichever way I'm taken, I just need to belong. And you did not heal that. So what has happened is you've carried that all along, but here underlying, still grieving your dad, still feeling the emptiness and the loneliness that they left you with, and finding the company also in the wrong places sometimes because.
And hearing guys talk good about my dad, who they think is my dad, and my dad is not there, so that of course would hit me. I'd cry at night, I remember I used to, just so that I prefer physical pain, I used to just hit my hand with a ruler till it just becomes sore.
Why would you do that?
Because
you're feeling so
I'd
much
prefer,
pain?
yeah, I'd prefer physical pain to
the emotional pain.
Emotional pain.
Because it's so much inside that you want to experience it in physical for it to get out.
But I've
but it doesn't work at all. It just makes things worse because now you have scars. The emotional scars, the emotional wounds are still really open. Yeah. But it's a cry for help. Did you ever have someone you could have a one-to-one and a heart-to-heart with and tell them exactly what the pain that you were going through, what was really happening over and above this status that you had received?
Well, I had a relative who was a clergy, let me just say that, and they once told me, you can just open up to me. I'm not your relative right now, I'm just a person of God. And I poured my heart to this person.
Yeah.
and this person poured everything to the rest of the family.
Wow.
I was like, ugh, no.
So your trust issues again started there.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they were deep-rooted. It was tough. You have to keep up appearances because of where people think you live or who your father is. So I still used to, I starved so that I save my pocket money to get now the guys from the primary school to take me to Gikomba to buy clothes that look like they were bought at like these other guys. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of hard work. It was really a lot of hard work. And honestly, just the time I really settled and accepted who I am, because I carried this demeanor to university, you know. I got to Russia and I told them I'm from New York, because the Russians have never left Kenya. They never left Russia. And they adored me, man. They was like, how's New York? We want to go there, Nini. And I had a dance group.
Wow.
Because they were like, wow. And I'll just go to Google, I see how people are dancing in New York. Imagine. So I carried it all the way, the whole 9 years. From Form 1, yani.
Almost even, like
Back at some point I used to ask myself, who am I? Like there's a
yeah.
time I used to ask
lost
myself,
yourself.
what is my real accent? Like,
you actually lost yourself.
Yes, because
in the lies.
Before I went to Russia, you know, I was in JB Masanduku, so I'd go out and then I'd do a British accent and pretend I don't speak Swahili, and guys would do me favors and I'd probably get laid, such like things.
Yeah.
And I go somewhere else, I do an American accent, I go somewhere, I do like that. To a point I didn't know what was my...
Who you are.
Yeah,
You
like
lost
what's my original, like, how
like
does Nathan speak like?
The real Nathan stopped living.
Yeah, because it's like, how does Nathan speak like?
There's a whole new Nathan altogether
Yeah.
that it started to exist,
Yeah.
to just fit in and be accepted and belong.
This time I will try it again, but the difference is you will run the show.
This is Freedom Lounge. My name is Marianne Imani.